All right, first and foremost, we want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh. We do so by Hashem Yahushua. That's all praise to the Most High God, in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ, right?
Right.
Right. And the double honors for Yahweh to give us the spirit to do this lesson, right? Today's topic is John 3:16, right? Does that mean that who the world calls Jesus Christ, the Mashiach Yahushua, does that mean he died for everybody? Long story short, no, it doesn't. Right? Even the top Edomite scholars like Dr. Michael Brown,
Right.
he even said John 3:16 doesn't mean Christ died for everybody. Right? So why should I listen to a Christian that doesn't know the Bible at all? Lowest of the lows, right? Why should I listen to them at all, right? Let's go to John 3:16. We're gonna break
Right.
that through the spirit.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world.
Right? God so loved the world. That means he loved everybody, right? No, that's not what that means, read.
That he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
Right. So first thing first, who's having a conversation here? Nicodemus and who the world calls Jesus Christ. Go to John 1 and 1. I mean John 3 and 1.
It's the book of St. John, chapter 3, verse 1. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus,
Right? A
a,
Jew. Right, read.
a ruler of the Jews.
Right. So it's two Jews having conversations here, right? Now go to John 3:14. Christians never read John 3:14, right?
This is the book of St. John, chapter 3, verse 14. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up.
Right. So when Moses lifted up that serpent in the wilderness, who did he heal? He healed the Israelites. Go to Numbers 21. And then we gonna show, the new brothers and sisters coming to the truth. We gonna show y'all a more easier cut than what we about to go to. Because
Right.
it's way better cuts than this.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 21, verse 8. And the Lord said unto Moses, Make
Right?
thee a fiery serpent. And
Right? So as John 3:14 says, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, right? This is going into Moses in the wilderness, read.
and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that every one that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And
Right?
Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
All right, so you read the part, children of Israel. Read on.
And the children of
And
Israel,
the children of who?
and the children of Israel
Read.
set forward and pitched in a both.
Right. So as most like John 3:14 says, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Moses lifted up the serpent for the Israelites. You know? So that's a
Right.
cut. And even you go into John 3:16, the Greek word for world is cosmos, which means government and constitution. Right? Now let's go to Hebrews 1 and 1. Because according to the Bible, was there more than one world made? Yes, there was multiple worlds made. So that has to mean in John 3:16 that when he says God so loved the world, he has to be talking about, one world.
Right. You want
He
me to read John 3:16 again? Or is it good?
Now just go to Hebrews.
All right, got you.
And I'm gonna bring this out. John 3:16, the Greek word for cosmos. I mean for world.
Okay. You want to
So
read that first?
yeah.
Okay.
So this is for brothers and sisters that don't have the Blue Letter Bible out app, Salakia. I would suggest that you download that because that's a must-have, right?
Right.
So this is the word for world, Strong's G2889, cosmos. Right? You go down to the biblical usage. Where is it? Right, here you go. An apt and harmonious arrangement or constitution, order, government. So it doesn't literally mean everybody on the face of the earth, right? Here it is right here. The definition of cosmos, right? And how we know that's the correct definition in the biblical usages, because he made more than one world according to the Bible. Read. You can start at verse 1.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 1. God, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things,
Right.
by whom also he made the worlds.
Right. So Yahweh Shah made the worlds, because the Most High God, Yahweh, he created Yahweh Shah, and Yahweh Shah created everything else.
Right.
So you can read about that in Colossians 1, 15, verses 15 and 16, right? So read that again, the last verse 2.
Verse 2, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds.
He made the what?
He made the worlds.
Worlds, plural. So let's go back to John 3:16. So that has to mean John 3:16 can't be talking about everybody if he made the worlds, right?
Right. It's the book of St. John, chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish.
Right? He so loved the world. Now we gonna show y'all through the Spirit who that world is. Go to Isaiah 45:17. As we showed y'all in the Blue Letter Bible, the Greek word for world is cosmos, government and constitution. We about to read a couple verses to prove that world means government and constitution. Read.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 17. But Israel shall be saved.
But Israel shall be saved. Read.
But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end.
What is Israel?
World without end.
Israel is that word in John 3:16, right? That's why when you go into the Greek, it's the word cosmos, which means government and constitution. Another way to prove that, John 18:20.
It's the book of John, St. John, chapter 18, verse 20. Jesus answered him, I spake openly to the world.
Right? So was Yahweh literally speaking to everybody on the earth? It says he spake openly to the world, so you got to keep that same energy, right? He wasn't speaking to everybody on the earth. Read on.
I ever taught in the synagogue.
Where was Yahweh?
In the synagogue.
But he was in the synagogue, but he just called it a world, right? Or the world. Why? Because they understood in ancient time, world just means a government and constitution. All right, so read that from the top again, Baruch Shah.
This is St. John chapter 18, verse 20. Jesus answered him, I spake openly to the world. I ever taught in the synagogue and in the temple, whither the Jews always resort.
Where the Jews resort, So he just called that synagogue a world. Right. Because it was a constitution in it. That's where the Jews went, Now let's go to Luke chapter 2.
Book of St. Luke, chapter 2,
verse number 1.
Book of St. Luke, chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus.
Right.
That
so Caesar Augustus, right?
Right.
You know, this verse is about to basically say he taxed the world. Did he literally tax everybody on earth? No, that's impossible. Right?
Right.
Read.
That all the world should be taxed.
Mm-hmm.
And this taxing was first made when Slovakia. Thank you.
Where you at?
Right there.
Sovereigneous.
Cyrenius?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Slovakia. When Cyrenius was governor of Syria.
All right. So
Right.
you would have to keep that same energy. Did Caesar Augustus literally tax everybody on the face of the earth? No. You know, he just taxed you know, his government constitution that he was running, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to say John 3:16, go to Psalms 90 and verse number 2. You want to say John 3:16 is talking about everybody on the earth. It would be different if it said God so loved the earth that he gave his only begotten son. That'd be different. That'd be talking about literally everybody, you know, that's on the earth. Read
This book of
Psalms
Psalms,
92.
chapter 90, verse 2. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hast formed the earth and the world.
The earth and the world, right? So that's, you know, putting a difference between the two, right? So if John 3:16 said God so loved the earth that he gave his only begotten son, that would be different. You know? But it says world in John 3:16. So that's not talking about everybody. Now let's go back to John 3:16 because it says whosoever, right? Whosoever.
It's the book of St. John, chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
Right. So we already proved who the world is, right? Is Israel. Read.
That whosoever believeth in him
Right?
should
Whosoever. That means anybody, right? Whosoever, right? Read on.
that who's that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
Right. So let's show, you know, the brothers and sisters who the whosoever is. All right, read. I'm gonna go to it. All right, I'm gonna show the brothers and sisters who the whosoever is in John 3:16. Because, you know, Christians can lead you astray. They could say that's literally talking about everybody. That's not the case. This is the book of Acts, chapter 2, and verse number 21. And it shall come to pass that whosoever, right? Whosoever, right? That means anybody, any and anybody, right? Right? So I'm gonna start from the top again. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. All right. So that's who the whosoever is in John 3:16. All right. It's not talking about a damn Edomite. Well, we know the Edomites is predestined to be destroyed according to the book of Obadiah. All right. We know the heathen got to go into slavery when Yahweh shall come back. All right.
All right.
So, you know, that's just quick cuts to, you know, quick ways to cut John 3:16. You know, don't let Christians tell you that that means who the world calls Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, died for everybody. That's false.
Right.
You know, and with that, we want to give all praise, glory, honor to Yahweh. We do so by Hashem Yahweh Shah. We say, Kwan Yashua.
Call me Australia.
Fuck you.